Leader of the BRICS economic bloc held on Wednesday the second day of its summit hosted by the African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Group 5 forests struggled to contain uncontrolled fire throughout the country for a fifth day. Ballot counting gets underway in Harare, Zimbabwe, after the death of votings in the country's legislative and presidential elections. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Leader of the BRICS economic bloc held on Wednesday the second day of its summit hosted by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. During the session, the BRICS members debated whether to expand its bloc and allow new members a decade plus after its creation. According to officials, more than 20 countries have formally applied to join the bloc, with Saudi Arabia among the most significant. China is seeking to rapidly grow the BRICS amid rising competition with the United States. Earlier, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he supported opening the door to new members and welcomes moving forward with consensus. On the other hand, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa told the summit that support for expansion had been articulated by all BRICS members. Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke about his BRICS Plus format and its importance for the expansion process.
We need to make good use of the BRICS Plus format and accelerate the BRICS expansion process to bring more countries into the BRICS family so as to pool our strength, pool our wisdom to make global governance more just and equitable.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for his part, said he was in favor of welcoming new members.
Fully supports the expansion of BRICS membership, and we welcome moving forward on this, based on consensus. In 2016, during India's presidency, we had defined BRICS as a group, building responsive, inclusive, and collective solutions.
In addition, Brazilian President Lula da Silva declared that a new development bank could offer solutions to the needs of the Global South.
Decarbonization of our economy should be followed by the job creation with dignity, industrialization and green infrastructure, public services for all. Through the new development bank, we can offer our own alternatives for adequate financing to meet the needs of the Global South.
The Foreign Minister of Venezuela, Ivan Gil, arrived on Wednesday in South Africa for the 15th BRICS summit. The diplomat was received by the Minister of Defense of South Africa, Tani Maurice, and the Venezuelan ambassador in Pretoria, Maureen Moreno. The summit brings together representatives of the member countries who are expected to strengthen political and commercial relations, as well as conduct multiple tasks in favor of the sustainable and inclusive development of the people. The expansion of the bloc with countries that have expressed their interest in joining it has been one of the topics of discussion on the first 2 days of the summit. The president of Bolivia, Luis Arce, arrived in South Africa and in his X account expressed joy for the arrival. He participates in the 15th Summit BRICS and in the construction of a multipolar financial system for the sustainable development of our people is fundamental. On Wednesday, Chinese President Xi Jinping meets with Senegalese President Macky Sall on the sidelines of the 15th BRICS Summit. She stated that China strongly supports Senegal's endeavors in safeguarding national stability and development, adding that China stands ready to strengthen mutual support with Senegal and deepen cooperation in such areas as industry, agriculture, infrastructure, and human resources. Jointly, safeguard the legitimate right to development and push for greater development of the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. He stressed that currently the national situation is undergoing profound and complex changes, and that China and Africa need more than ever to strengthen solidarity and cooperation.
We are all friends, and I feel a strong sense of familiarity upon meeting. You've visited China for many times. Here again, I wish Senegal greater achievements in development in the future. With our joint efforts in recent years, China and Senegal have enjoyed ever-deepening political mutual trust and fruitful cooperation in various fields. Senegal is an important partner of China in Africa. China is ready to move forward together with Senegal in the journey of development and rejuvenation and push for greater development of our comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership.
For his part, the Senegalese president welcomes the meeting and stresses that Senegal is committed to the One China policy. Let's hear.
Mr. President, my dear and great friend, I'm very glad to meet with you again. I also want to highly praise the China-Senegal high-quality bilateral relationship that you just mentioned, as it benefits from your leadership and will, and here I want to reiterate that Senegal is firmly committed to the One China policy. We are honored to see that the Senegal-China bilateral cooperation enjoys sound development.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you find news in different formats, new dates, and more. All the stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. A preparatory meeting was held in Brazil for the 76th annual meeting of the Society for the Advancement of Science. The organizers informed that this annual meeting is one of the most important for the student centers of the Federal University of Pará in Belém, which will be held in July next year. The entity will discuss several topics such as the construction of a new contract with nature and its people, as well as the balance of resources. The society is a civil entity dedicated to the defense of scientific and technological progress, as well as the educational and cultural development of the state. The International Monetary Fund has approved a $7.5 billion loan to Argentina as the South American country grapples with the prolonged economic crisis. The announcement was made on Wednesday by a spokesperson for the Economy Minister Sergio Massa. The agreement combines the fifth and sixth reviews of an existing 30-month IMF program in a move that IMF staff said last month would help support Argentina's very challenging economic situation. On Tuesday, the World Bank approved the new project for the South American country worth around $650 million, which are targeted at increasing access to financing for climate change mitigation and adaptation and strengthening food programs. Argentina is grappling with a severe economic crisis that has seen the inflation rate soar above 100% and poverty levels climb to 40%. Argentina celebrates International Monetary Fund disbursement and urges to preserve social peace after the IMF Executive Board approved a US $7.5 million disbursement for Argentina. President Alberto Fernandez urged to safeguard social peace, given the looting that took place in several cities in the country.
The agreement with the fund has just been finalized, but actually, we are spending a lot of time on a tragic debt that Argentina took on and that will condition its future for many years to come. And although it gives me peace of mind to know that we have solved the problem and that this means peace of mind for Argentines, it would have been much better if we had never taken on this debt. I ask all Argentines to take great care of social peace and tranquility, that we are going to take care of solving the problems faced by Argentines and their incomes. But I ask you, please, to preserve social peace and social tranquility. It is very important.
On Wednesday, Great firefighters struggled to contain and control fires throughout the country for a fifth day, several of them bordering an outbreak smoke-filled Athens. In the last 2 days, 19 people believed to be migrants, including 2 children, had been killed in forest fires. A fire fanned by strong winds ripped through the foothills of Mount Vernita, the largest forest adjoining the capital, burning near the outskirts of a national park and threatening a casino in the area. Evacuations were ordered on Wednesday morning for several settlements in the area, including 3 nursing homes. The blaze damaged homes in northwestern Athens district of Menidi, which is also close to a military camp. Nikos Kontramichalis, a Hellenic Red Cross organizer, told State TV urged in Menidi that many people don't want to leave their homes. As Europe and other regions weather a UN researcher cautions that climate change was enabling increasingly intense and long-standing heat waves, which in some areas could soon begin to hit year-round. Extreme heat has dominated the headlines in recent weeks, from the current heat dome cooking much of Europe to heat-fueled wildfires ranging in Greece, Spain, Canada, and Hawaii, and soaring temperatures in the middle of South American winter. John Earth, a serious extreme heat advisor at the UN's World Meteorological Organization, told AFP that in an interview that heat waves are beginning earlier, lasting longer, and becoming more intense. He also said that this is the most rapidly emerging consequences of global warming that we are seeing in the weather systems, stressing that this was in line with scientific predictions. He also lamented that people are far too relaxed about the signs. Moreover, he added that science has been saying that this is coming, and this is not where it stops. It will only get more intense and more frequent. The Russian Investigative Committee has opened a criminal investigation into a private plane crash north of Moscow, where 10 people aboard were reportedly killed. The announcement was made by the committee's spokesperson, Sevanta Petrenko, who said a criminal case had been opened into the crash. Russian news agencies reported that the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, was among the jet's passenger list. Russia's Minister for Emergency Situations said the plane was traveling between Moscow and St. Petersburg, with 10 people on board, including 3 crew members. The Russian agency informed that the bodies of 8 people had been found so far at the site of the crash.
Directorate of the Investigative Committee of the Russian Federation opened a criminal case on the fact of an aviation accident in the Tver region on the grounds of an offense under Article 263 of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation. A business jet traveling from Moscow to St. Petersburg crashed in the Tver region. According to preliminary data, 10 people on board were killed. An investigation team has been sent to the scene of the accident. All necessary forensic examinations will be appointed, and a set of investigative actions will be carried out to establish the causes of the crash.
We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch short interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Wednesday, for the 4th straight day, Sudanese paramilitary fought the regular army in Khartoum for the control of a key armored corps based in the capital south. According to local authority, fighters from Mohammed Hamdan Daglo's rapid support forces began their assaults on the vast strategic compound on several fronts on Sunday. Residents of Al-Shajara, the neighborhood where the base is situated, reported large losses on both sides on the first day of the attack, when the fighting was constant. The war between the rival generals and former allies erupted on April 15th, and conservative estimates from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project are that only 5,000 people have been killed since then. According to United Nations figures, in the 4th month since the fighting broke out, more than 4.6 million people have had to flee their homes. The non-governmental organization Save the Children informed that about 500 children have died from hunger in Sudan since fighting erupted. According to the organization, at least 31,000 children lack access to treatment for malnutrition and related illnesses, and the charity was forced to close 57 of its nutrition centers in the country. Sudan was plunged into chaos in April when measured tensions between the military led by Abdel Fattah Burhan and the RSF commanded by Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo exploded into open fighting in the capital, Khartoum, and elsewhere. According to the United Nations Migration Agency, more than 3.4 million people have been forced to flee their homes to safer areas inside Sudan, while over 1 million crossed into neighboring countries, including Egypt, Chad, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Central African Republic.
With the refugees situation, mothers struggle to feed their children, so we now receive many cases of malnutrition. We need prevention measures for malnutrition cases, as it will help in dealing with many cases that we receive upon their arrival. In addition to this, any malnutrition patient who comes to us should receive proper medications, and we don't have any medications here.
We've received many malnutrition and malaria cases. Our message to raise awareness regarding malnutrition cases within the camp community is to report the case to the nearest medical center once symptoms appear in a child in order to receive proper treatment.
Ethiopia's foreign ministry announced that the government would jointly investigate with the authorities a report by a human rights group of killings of hundreds of its nationals. U.S.-based group Human Rights Watch released a report on Monday, citing eyewitness accounts of attacks by border guards in Saudi Arabia using machine guns and mortars on unarmed Ethiopians trying to cross into the kingdom from Yemen. The Ethiopian ministry called for restraint and advice against making unnecessary speculation until an investigation is completed, and said that the countries enjoyed excellent long-standing relations. As the government officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, called the Human Rights Watch report unfounded and not based on reliable sources, but did not offer evidence to support the assertion. Hundreds of cheering Indians across the city applaud the success of the country's first lunar mission, Chandrayaan-3, to the moon's South Pole. On Wednesday, India became the first nation to land a craft near the moon's South Pole, a historic triumph for the world's most populous nation and its ambition called private space program. The unmanned Chandrayaan-3, which means mooncraft in Sanskrit, touched down at 6:04 p.m. India time as mission control technicians here Wally embraced their colleagues. Its landing comes 8 after a Russian probe crashed in the same region and for years since the previous Indian attempt failed at the last moment. Ballot counting gets underway in Harare, Zimbabwe, after a day of voting in the country's legislative and presidential elections. Zimbabwe's opposition leader accused the ruling ZANU-PF government of rigging and voter suppression as long delays marred to the start of balloting in key districts of Zimbabwe's high-stakes election. As polling began to close on voting stations, it was only starting in others, prompting opposition accusation of vote manipulation after a campaign marked by tension and clampdown. Electoral authorities informed that less than a quarter of polling stations in Harare and opposition strongholds open on time, blaming the problem on delays in the printing of ballot papers. At least 6.6 million people were registered to vote, with more than 1 million in Harare. Publication of results is legally required within 5 days. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website, TeleSURenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Razabal. Thank you for watching.